Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hold on. My bad. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is still Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. Back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. I'm still trying to make it through this voice issue, but I'm doing good. I'm trying to see how I can help y'all with some upcoming issues. Let me start off by this. When I was a child, it was during the Christmas season. It was December. I was around 8 years old, somewhere up in there. I was at the bus stop one cold winter morning, around the 1st of December, about the December 3rd, 4th, somewhere, the first week of December, somewhere up in there. And I was all excited, happy, couldn't wait for Christmas. Because of what all Santa Claus was going to bring me. So I'm at the bus stop. And that was an early lesson I learned about don't tell other people about what you got going on. Don't tell other people about the good news and good things that are happening in your life. Keep it to yourself. That was my first lesson with that. It didn't grasp till later on. But that was my first run-in with, if you blessed, you got a lot going on. I know you want to shout it to the world and talk about the goodness of God and all God and did for you, how God blessing you. I know you want to do that. But I learned back in 1979, 80, somewhere up in there. Don't let other people know what you got going on. Don't let other people know your good news. I learned the hard way. Because by doing that same day, my heart was ripped out of my chest. I'm at the bus stop, 1st of December, first part of December. Nice, brisk, cold winter morning. And I'm just telling my friends now, Royal, Waylon, Wayne, everybody, we at the bus stop. I'm just going on and on and on about what Santa Claus gonna bring me. Santa Claus gonna bring me this. Santa Claus gonna bring me that. Oh, that damn Santa Claus, he the best thing smoking. I'm just going on and on and on and on about Santa Claus. And I reckon the other kids, who a lot of them Santa Claus what is good to, as he was to me. They ain't like that shit. So as I'm commencing to talk about all that Santa Claus gonna bring me and what he brought me last year, and all, he always bringing me stuff. I forgot which one of my friends said it. But he said Santa Claus got killed. Santa Claus was flying his sleigh and ran into a telephone pole and died. And I took off running home, crying like a bat out of hell. Mama, 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 mama. They just said Santa Claus got killed. He hit a telephone pole in his sleigh. Is that true, mama? I was crying. I'm talking about like snot bubbles and everything. And she said, boy, ain't no Santa Claus. I'm Santa Claus. My mom revealed to me at that point in time she had to. Because she looking at me standing there devastated. Because they just said Santa Claus dead. So she went on and told me the truth, that she was Santa Claus. Now fast forward to the day. What does it got to do with the day, Big Ward? I'm glad you asked. See, we already know that there's no Santa Claus. We already know that we are the Santa Claus for our children. Those of you who kids still believe in Santa Claus. A lot of y'all don't teach our kids that stuff no more. I didn't teach my son that either. So a lot of y'all, and the reason I don't teach my son that, y'all want to know, why, big boy, let him enjoy it. But no, I don't teach my son. I never taught him about Santa Claus because I remember how devastated I was when I found out it wasn't real. I wasn't going to take him through that. It was like I lost my mom. Seriously. When I found out Santa Claus had died. And then later on found out he never existed. That left an everlasting mark on me, like what is true and what ain't. But that's another story. So now here we are today as adults, and I'm talking to the ones who may be teaching your kids that they're Santa Claus. But we all know who Santa Claus is. It's us, right? So hence the title of this video. Even Santa Claus is broke. Because you Santa Claus, or I'm Santa Claus. And the way things are going, Santa Claus ain't going to have no money. Santa Claus ain't going to be able to set it out this year. So I'm giving y'all another way to break it easy to your children. Instead of the way they broke it to me, to my Santa Claus dead. You ain't got to go that harsh with it. For those of you who Santa Claus ain't going to make no stop by your house this year, the Lord will, and the creek no rather we live to even see Christmas. There's a lot of people who Santa Claus have been paying visits over the past few years to your house, who this year, he going to pass on by. So what I recommend you tell your children, this year, Santa Claus is broke. The economy is bad. Everybody doing bad. Everybody struggling. Now, I'm going to try to get you a few gifts myself. Because Santa Claus broke, and he ain't going to be able to bring you all that stuff you're asking for. You're welcome. But I'm not joking. Because I'm sitting up here figuring, even though my son don't believe in Santa Claus, the thing going like it's going, there's a lot of stuff I ain't going to be able to do come Christmas if I live to see it. I just ain't got to tell him about no Santa Claus. He already know it ain't there. But I still got to accept the fact that, man, it's a possibility that this Christmas going to be the first one since he's been born that I ain't been able to do good for him. Because Santa Claus, he broke too. Tell your children, the ones who kids still believe in Santa Claus, but you done lost your job. Or you like me, you got a job, but it's like you ain't got a job. Tell your children, Santa Claus came on the news and said he was broke while you was in school. You didn't get to see it. I saw it. So this year for Christmas, I'm going to do what I can to get you some of the things you want. But don't write no big old list for Santa Claus because he broke. Now let's take a look at how Santa Claus got broke in the first place. If you go back through the years in America, I'm going to give y'all a little American history of some cities and towns that are pretty much decimated by poverty. There was once thriving cities, but now they're like poverty-stricken, run down, people not working, no jobs, there are no opportunities. Say for instance, Gary, Indiana, Detroit, Michigan. I'm going to use those two for examples. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with the steel mills. Detroit, they had a lot of plants and factories. Gary, Indiana, had a lot of plants and factories. We did a lot of manufacturing in America once upon a time. I know y'all find it hard to believe. It wasn't no made in China over here. Everything was made in the USA. We had the most manufacturing and we had the best products. American made was the best. Before we got to where we are now with everything made in China, Taiwan, Mexico, India, whatever. All that stuff we buying from abroad. We made it here. And that was during the time when you can work at the plant on one job and take care of a family of four by yourself as the man. Your wife didn't have to work. You can send your kids to school, car, house, all that on one job. Now, we're at a point to where all those factories, all those companies uprooted and left, looking to save money. They got tired of paying those Americans those wages that allowed them to be able to pay for a home, family, car on one job. They shipped everything. See, a lot of that stuff we get from China, it's American companies. Indian places, those companies used to be here. As a matter of fact, a lot of the technology that China and places got, they stole it from us. They stole it. While we giving China all these props like they so smart and work so hard and what have you, actually Chinese products are trash, garbage, because they didn't originate none of it. They're all knockoffs and copies. They stole the stuff from America. So what Mr. Trump, I guess, I don't know what the hell he's doing for real now, was trying to do, I understood the premise of it, with the tariffs. The tariffs were an attempt to bring those companies back to America and make them start building factories and doing business here, creating products here so you put Americans back to work. Because what happened to Detroit, Gary, Indiana, and other places, as those companies left, it destroyed the community. How well will you do if you're living in a city or a town somewhere where there's no jobs? There's nowhere to work. You want to work, there's nothing there. No plant, no stores, no nothing. There's only a handful of jobs, and they're already taken by your neighbor or whoever who was lucky enough to get the job. When you living in a town or a city that was once thriving because of that plant, because of that mill, and what have you, and then that mill or plant shut down and moved, it's going to destroy that community. Well, that's what has happened to America, the entire country. We have more people than jobs. So therefore, that's going to drive down the wages. They ain't got to pay you nothing because there's no big demand for workers because we got enough. Ain't enough job for all y'all. So now y'all desperate. So if I tell you I'm going to pay you $14 an hour for a job that I should be paying you $30 for, what you going to do? What you going to do? Because 9 times out of 10, you somewhere on a job right now. To where you lose that job right now, you fucked. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. If you happen to be on a job right now, I don't know if you know it or not, but if you lose that job, there's a good possibility you won't be able to get another job. My situation. I'm supposed to be off this whole week, according to I told y'all that's what happened. And it ain't looking too much better for next week either. I'm not stupid. I'm no fool for y'all that like to come in here and tell me, why don't you try this? Why don't you try? I've told y'all this over and over again. I know. Now, if we keep up like this with weeks of not working, then I would have to go take a job that paid less than what I was making because something is better than nothing. At least I was working 3 days a week. But if I'm to where I'm working no days a week, now I got to make some moves to where anything is better than that, even if it's McDonald's. I wasn't in that position 2 weeks ago. But as I told y'all, y'all looking at me. You looking at my situation, get worse. Don't think it's going to just stop at me. I was already bad. But you're looking at it get worse. I went from working 6 days a week and 5 days a week to 4 days a week to 3 days a week. Now this week, no days. And I'm not fired or laid off. So I can't go draw unemployment. I ain't fired. I ain't laid off. I'm still employed. So my best bet is now to go find something else, right? That would be the logical answer. Go get you another job. So what I've been doing, I didn't open up the door. Now let me start looking. It's time to, it's time for me to go. Truck driver, hiring, $15 an hour. Truck driver, hiring, $13.75 an hour. OTR driver, 40 cents a mile. You feel me? So by all of these companies, manufacturers and what have you, that have left America, I'm assuming what President Trump is trying to do to Terry by making them countries want to come back here, but it ain't working. But anyway, that was his hope, I guess. I don't know what the hell these folk doing. I understood the premise though, to where make it cheaper for them to be here and make their goods than it would be to go somewhere else and ship the goods back here. Make it cheaper just to stay. I get that. It didn't work like that. Them folks said, fuck it, we'll deal with somebody else. We won't even deal with America. So now here we have it. They just stopped shipping here altogether. Instead of coming back, they said just fuck America. So the way Detroit, Gary, Indiana, and other places that depended on them jobs for the community to thrive. And when those jobs left, the community crumbled. Well, that's the same thing that has happened to America. Everything left America. And now here we have a whole country, not just Gary, Indiana, not just Detroit, Michigan, and other places. Instead, it's the whole damn country that's crumbled because we lost all of our manufacturing plants and what have you. We don't make nothing no more. We don't produce nothing no more. We just consume. So now, we have no way to make no money. America is going to be one big Detroit, Michigan. America is going to be one big Gary, Indiana. Poverty, crime, anger, drug abuse, domestic violence, you name it, it's coming to America. And I don't mean Eddie Murphy. Now you see why I say Santa Claus is broke too. Get it, got it, good. Bye.